First, we start with Althusser's definition of ideology, which he states is an imaginary relation to real relations that is itself endowed with a material existence. Now, observe the following. An individual believes in God, or duty, or justice, etc. This belief derives from the ideas of the individual concerned, i.e. from him as a subject with a consciousness which contains the ideas of his belief. In this way, i.e. by means of the absolutely ideological conceptual device thus set up, the attitude of the subject concerned naturally follows. The individual in question behaves in such and such a way, adopts such and such a practical attitude, and, what is more, participates in certain regular practices which are those of the ideological apparatus on which depend the ideas which he has in all consciousness freely chosen as a subject. If he believes in God, he goes to church to attend Mass, kneels, prays, confesses, does penance, and naturally repents and so on. If he believes in duty, he will have the corresponding attitudes inscribed in ritual practices according to the correct principles. If he believes in justice, he will submit unconditionally to the rules of the law and may even protest when they are violated, sign petitions, take part in a demonstration, etc. Throughout this schema, we observe that the ideological representation of ideology is itself forced to recognize that every subject endowed with a consciousness and believing in the ideas that his consciousness inspires in him and freely accepts must act according to his ideas, must therefore inscribe his own ideas as a free subject in the actions of his material practice. If he does not do so, that is wicked. Indeed, if he does not do what he ought to do as a function of what he believes, it is because he does something else, which, still as a function of the same idealist scheme, implies that he has other ideas in his head as well as those he proclaims, and that he acts according to these other ideas as a man who is either inconsistent, or cynical, or perverse. In every case, the ideology of ideology thus recognizes, despite its imaginary distortion, that the ideas of a human subject exist in his actions, or ought to exist in his actions, and if that is not the case, it lends him other ideas corresponding to the actions, however perverse, that he does perform. This ideology talks of actions, and Althusser talks of actions inserted into practices. He points out that these practices are governed by the rituals in which these practices are inscribed within the material existence of an ideological apparatus, be it only a small part of that apparatus, such as a small mass in a small church, a funeral, a minor match at a sports club, a school day, a political party meeting, etc. Now, where only a single subject is concerned, the existence of the ideas of his belief is material in that his ideas are his material actions inserted into material practices governed by material rituals, which are themselves defined by the material ideological apparatus from which derive the ideas of that subject.